Worried, panic and fear grips Jamaican diaspora in the U.S. as the world digests the controversial executive order signed by U.S. President Donald Trump. Good evening and thanks for joining us for Primetime News. A special welcome to viewers on OneSpotMedia.com. I'm Archibald Gordon.
And I'm Doreen Samuels. Speak up. Jamaican government called on to condemn U.S. so-called Muslim ban.
Searching for work, vendors flock to Mandela Highway as Bogwalk Gorge sales dry up.
Shortage, St. Anne cemeteries face dwindling spaces.
Cold-blooded murder, police face accusations after a cop killing.
And in the business day, looking ahead, NCB on how it plans to be the bank of the future.
There is also a ray of hope, sports post commentary and weather in the primetime package. But before the break, the feedback question.
The United States President's controversial executive order on immigration has generated global concerns. Should Caribbean countries in particular be worried, and why?
Share comments online, facebook.com/Television Jamaica and tweet at Television Jam. Welcome back to Primetime News. Special welcome if you're watching on OneSpotMedia.com.
A reminder as well that you can watch TVJ live by downloading our One Spot Media app in the Google Play Store or the App Store. That's the number 1, followed by the word Spot and Media.
Panic and fear are gripping some members of the Jamaican diaspora in the United States this evening as the world continues to digest the controversial executive order signed by U.S. President Donald Trump.
Mr. Trump announced a 4-month hold on allowing refugees into the United States and has temporarily barred travelers from Syria and 6 other Muslim-majority countries.
And the concern is other immigrants could be affected, including Jamaicans. TVJ's Andrea Chisholm reports.
The executive order signed by U.S. President Donald Trump has led to worldwide chaos, backlash and protests. Even though the travel ban does not apply to the Caribbean, the Jamaican diaspora in the United States has been reacting.
People are very scared, they're concerned, they're worried, people are confused, they don't know what's going on. A lot of people from Jamaica and other Caribbean islands are terrified. I spoke to somebody from Barbados this morning, and their family members are just afraid because they don't know what's going to happen.
There are concerns that the travel ban could extend to other jurisdictions. Already, one Jamaican who is a green card holder was given a document to sign when he landed at the John F. Kennedy Airport in New York.
His relative was coming up from Jamaica, and they gave them some document to sign. And these are green card holders. I'm told that it's something saying if you wish to give up your green card, which doesn't make any sense, that you should sign this paper, and people are not signing it. People are, advised not to sign this document when they arrive in the United States at the airport.
Joan Pinnock, who is also an immigration attorney, caters to members of the Jamaican diaspora in the northeast section of the country, covering 13 states, for example, New York, Washington, D.C., New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. She is advising eligible Jamaicans in the United States to immediately apply for U.S. citizenship, and if one is undocumented, they should find a way to get a green card. And one Jamaican who has a green card gave her family's reaction to concerns shared by members of the diaspora.
We're not concerned about that, because one day I'll be coming back home also too. And I don't decide to get a citizenship there.
In the meantime, it's business as usual for the island's 2 major international airports. No excess bookings or cancellation of flights.
This really hasn't affected the airport business at all. People are acting as normal, passengers, airlines, and the airport. So we've really had no reaction, if you will, to this executive order.
Andrea Chisholm, TVJ News.
And the Jamaican diaspora has formed an immigration and deportation prevention task force to help Jamaicans who have been living in the United States for years.
Where we're actually dealing with the Jamaicans who are in the United States who are subject to removal. And we are working together as attorneys, Jamaican lawyers, and other non-attorneys to try to stop and prevent the deportation. We launch next month in February, and we're hoping to come down to Jamaica, to go down to Jamaica in March to meet with deportees to see if there's anything that we can actually do to assist them.
And the Muslim community in Jamaica is reiterating its call for the Jamaican government to add its voice to those condemning the U.S. President's executive action on immigration. The Islamic Council of Jamaica is of the belief that it's only a matter of time before similar action is taken against Jamaica, and so it wants preventative measures taken now. TVJ's Herman Green has that aspect of this story.
Protests in the United States as well as in other countries since U.S. President Donald Trump imposed a ban on immigrants from 7 Muslim nations. It's also raising concern among Muslims here in Jamaica.
Our major concern is that this action may lead to other actions of injustice.
That's why Director of the Islamic Council of Jamaica, Sheikh Musta Tijani, has called for Jamaica's government to speak out on the matter. The Council's media liaison officer, Tariq Abdul Majid, is reiterating that call.
His expectation pretty much is that the government to voice its opinion, that what is the government's position pretty much as to, is this an act of discrimination? Then voice your opinion that we are not supportive of it. So whatever decision, executive order, whether it be the Mexican wall, whether it be the temporary ban on individuals from 7 countries for 90 days, whatever act, we believe that the government should voice its position.
Mr. Majid acknowledged that the Muslim community in Jamaica is small, less than 1% of the population, and so says the concern goes beyond religion. At least one local attorney shares that view.
The concept of a green card holder being subject to a bar is novel. And I don't think they've already worked out how that is going to be applied in interpretation.
It may even lead to something saying that, here what, if a Jamaican go and commits a crime, because we're familiar with 1 or 2 persons of Jamaican descent that have committed acts of terror, then we may now hear that, here what, Jamaica is also on this list.
Information Minister Senator Ruel Reid said he would comment on the matter on Wednesday during the Jamaica House media briefing. Herman Green, TVJ News.
Meanwhile, citing the U.S. president's reason for the ban, the Islamic Council of Jamaica is insisting the U.S. president could have addressed the issue of extreme Islamic terrorism differently. While agreeing that terrorism is a major problem globally, Mr. Majid said President Trump should have put more effort into talking to the leaders of the countries affected by the ban.
I believe engaging the communities that they believe that this is occurring from is a better means and method. So these countries, I believe, engaging the governments of these countries, engaging the Muslim communities at large in the various countries, and the governments in general, or anywhere that you see threat, whether it be in the Middle East, Asia, or these African, Somalia, Sudan, and these countries that have been listed.
He said religious leaders in these countries should also be targeted for dialogue, as they have the power to influence followers and young people. He has sought to make it clear that Islam does not endorse terrorism.
When it comes to extremism, our position is one position. That extremism is completely and absolutely unacceptable in Islam.
And speaking of the travel ban, officials in the U.S. and across the globe are continuing to make their take on the ban known. Today, the White House said the change in policy was a major success and will help keep the country safe. Democrats and many opponents, however, are vowing to fight back. More from the CNN.
Someday we had to make the move, and we decided to make the move.
That move created shockwaves around the world as the U.S. closed its doors to refugees and immigrants from 7 countries for at least 90 days. The reaction from opponents was swift. Thousands of protesters flocking to airports across the country, voicing their outrage.
So if they're targeted, we're all targeted. And so we're going to stand together.
We are a nation of immigrants, and we must stand together for the strength of our country.
The White House says this move shouldn't be a surprise. It's what Donald Trump campaigned on, but critics say the rollout of the new rules left people confused. Sources tell us the Department of Homeland Security had to make a legal analysis after the order was signed. A federal judge issued an emergency stay for part of the order on Saturday night.
You don't know when the next threat's coming. You don't know when the next attack's coming. And so the best you can do is to get ahead of it, because if you wait, you're going to be reacting.
The move marks a sharp shift in U.S. counterterrorism strategy. A handful of Republicans voiced their concern with the move, including Senators John McCain and Lindsey Graham. But the White House insists that the move is legal and warranted.
This focus on securing our borders and our homeland was obviously a major part of what the president campaigned on. And now he's doing exactly what he told the American people he would do.
Some leaders from European allies in Britain, Germany, and France voiced their criticisms of the ban.
A top story this evening. Panic and fear grips Jamaican diaspora in the U.S. as the world digests a controversial executive order signed by U.S. President Donald Trump. Still ahead, shortage, St. Anne's cemeteries facing dwindling space. And in the business day, looking ahead, NCB on how it plans to be the bank of the future.
Welcome back. Continuing the news. The St. Catherine Parish Council says something has to be done to curb a vending problem seemingly getting out of control at the Commander's Crossing along Mandela Highway in St. Catherine. The opening of the North-South Highway has resulted in a migration of vendors from the Bog Walk community, as well as those who used to ply their products in the gorge. TVJ's Dara Smith reports.
Not mango or naseberry season, but you can always depend on vendors in the Bog Walk Gorge to have these fruits readily available. They explain that these fruits bear differently based on the parish. So, wherever they are, the vendors go and source them for their customers. But here's the problem. The customers have become fewer. A visit to the gorge revealed more empty stalls than the handful of vendors who remain. Andrew Moffat is one of the few who still remain. He's been vending in the gorge for over 10 years.
I'm a youth at school. This is my living and my occupation. Yeah. And from the highway, it's been very slow for us out here.
My life now worse because now I'm at home. At home with 2 kids, go to school every day, very challenging.
Before the opening of the North-South Highway, the vendors explained that on a good day, they could sell thousands of dollars. Now it's between $500 and $1,000.
Business is slow. Can you buy them normally when you buy, you load and come out, some people that buy. We not get any buyer again around here. Mostly the people who buy take the highway. The people who use around here is the persons who running going to Bog Walk and Linstead. Don't really buy.
So why you stay out here then?
Because we just love, we build it around here, so we just keep it around here. Because we still have people who come and look for us around here same way, but not as much as how we used to get.
In addition to that, a lot of money gets wasted because the fruits become spoiled. So numerous empty stalls in the Bog Walk Gorge. Their owners now migrated to St. Anne, but a lot of them end up along the Mandela Highway at the Caymanas Crossing. Scotty now vends on the Mandela Highway. He explains that it was something he was forced to do to survive.
I want to tell you, a little bit better, It's not worse like how it did worse only because you can't see something Vita right now.
He admits that they face additional costs to transport their goods to Mandela, but a number of them have been doing this. For vendors who have been at Mandela for years, the arrival of other vendors is not a problem because they sell different items. Well, not for them, but for the St. Catherine Parish Council, there's a problem.
My commercial services team has been looking at them seriously. We are in dialogue with Portmore because you would have known that it spans the 2 municipalities, and so we are looking at it.
Looking at it?
With a view of putting some regulation, because we have seen that some of the activities bordering on danger because people are running out into the road, and it is a serious challenge.
He admits that finding a suitable location for the vendors is something that will need to be discussed. However, Andrew Moffat does not see Mandela as an option.
Them say them are going to open up roads and those things out there, so we don't know what's going to happen right now. So maybe everybody have to go move up again.
Look at this, nobody not going to be able to sell out here, so. For everybody, the Chinese man are going to fence we not, see wall where them are built, so we part we are going to sell out here.
They want the government to intervene.
Even some stall by the highway, I don't know. Something to make we live in little more better, to enhance we living.
If them planning on to make shop for us, and if we have to pay like, say 1 to 5 months or whatsoever, we're willing to pay it. We're willing to pay because that's our livelihood.
The mayor explained, however, that the highway is not operated by the council nor the National Works Agency.
I think there are plans to put along the road some kind of rest stop, which would include place where people would be able to ply their stuff. So I really can't speak to it as yet.
Dara Smith, TVJ News.
Concerns this evening about burial spots in the parish of St. Anne. It's been reported that some of these cemeteries are closed while others are limited in their capacities. One funeral director is also speaking out, saying the reason more persons are dying now compared to previous years. TVJ Shamela Mitchell journeyed to the Garden Parish and now brings us the first in a two-part series on cemetery plots.
Inez Brown was busy supervising grave digging activities when we came across her in Goshen-in-law, who died in December last year. And it wasn't necessarily Miss Brown's first choice to bury her relative at home. The nearby Brownstown Cemetery would have been a better choice.
Because they are burying on top of each other now, so when you go, you can't find your spot anymore. Like you want to clean the grave or put on another wreath on it or so, you can't find it because they are going on top of each other. So we don't know the spot anymore. So it is best if we use it at home.
This is an example of what is taking place now because the Brownstown Cemetery is almost closed, forcing families to now bury their loved ones at home. 15 cemeteries are in St. Anne, 2 already closed. Others are running out of space. Inez Brown knows of the problem firsthand. Miss Brown says she buried her children's father here at the Brownstown Cemetery. That was some 16 years ago. However, when she went back to the spot where he was buried, she was unable to locate the headstone. So, paying a fee of $2,500 at the parish council to bury her late brother-in-law on the family plot was not a difficult decision.
Well, we go to parish council and they grant us the approval, and they come and look on it first and then they grant us the approval. Especially if there were grave on it before, then it is easier for you to get the approval.
And you have graves on it?
Yes, we do.
It means our problem is solved. But for Inez Brown, there's a bigger issue.
If they don't have spaces at home, what will they do? What will they do if the cemetery is closed? What will they do? Because not everybody will be buried at the church cemetery. Because the church cemetery is for just like the leaders and the leaders' wives and so. So then, if they don't have any place at home, what will they do?
Managing Director at St. Michael's Funeral Home, Eric Comrie, also understands the problem. He says in the parish of St. Anne, far more people are dying compared to previous years.
On a weekly basis, on average, like per day, it's not less than 5 or 6 per day. And it's 3 funeral homes, so sometimes it fluctuates. But you would have like near to 100 burials in St. Anne per month.
But there's been no increase in burial grounds.
You have more people moving to the urban areas of St. Anne other than the rural, and we use the family plots mainly in the rural areas. So I don't think no provision or no planning was put in place like 20 years ago to really alleviate this problem.
Join us tomorrow when we look at the challenges faced by funeral directors and the plans the parish council has in place in addressing this problem. Shamela Mitchell, TVJ News.
Residents of Waltham Park Road in St. Andrew protested the police killing of a man in the community today. The dead man has been identified as Andre Denton and is said to have been suffering from a mental condition. The killing took place along Metcalf Street.
Only thing Andre Walker can do is play with the girl them, play with the pretty them, and cook the biggest spot boy. Him have him and son surfeit ticket, and the police them from Central put him on him knee and kill him and push him mother. Ask him name, I tell him name, and then push him down and give him 3 shots.
Indicom is investigating what residents insist is a clear case of cold-blooded murder.
The briefing I got so far is that there was a joint military police operation in the area, and they had a warrant in which they went to the premises number 12, is Metcalf Road, in search of a particular individual. It is alleged that they went inside and went to a room, and the door, it is said, was half open. When they approached, they saw a gentleman with a firearm. We lifted it, and of course the officer said they took evasive action and fired.
On the heels of Saturday's special operation in the Maypen Market in Clarendon, the superintendent in charge of operations in the parish says the police continue to struggle to find persons with outstanding warrants and summonses. The special operations are intended to, among other things, catch criminals who operate in town centres and other public spaces. But Superintendent David White says it's going to take much more to nab some criminals, and he says lawmakers can help. TVJ's Krista Campbell has that story.
Clarendon is really a sad place for us as law enforcement.
Superintendent in charge of operations in Clarendon, David White, on the matter of warrants and summonses. He laments that too many persons in Clarendon have outstanding warrants and the police have not been able to bring them in. Superintendent White says it's a problem across the island, and this is the reason.
What we really have is a very unstructured country. People are still living in addresses as postal agency and post offices and district. That is one of those issues that is giving us problem in executing some warrants. Some persons would, even the driver's license, people are giving addresses of that they are living in a particular space. And then when you check on these persons, they are living somewhere else.
He says it's a matter for lawmakers to urgently address.
A lot of unserved warrants, we're even having problem in even serving summons, and because of the fact that the place is unstructured, the unstructured system that is taking place throughout our country.
And according to him, the ease with which persons can do certain business transactions without verifying their address only serves to further the problem.
You can go anywhere and tell somebody that you live there, get a driver's license. And you said you live in Clarendon when you really live in St. James. And then you're looking for somebody who commit a breach in Clarendon when they really are living in St. James. And we're having problems. So the district, the post office, and the fact that you can give any address to persons without proper ID, we are having a problem in executing a number of warrants throughout the island.
Krista Campbell, TVJ News.
The principal of Kingston High School in downtown Kingston, Earl Pottinger, is praising the Flow Recharge program, saying it's bringing some encouraging changes to the lives of students. In this week's edition of A Ray of Hope, the principal shares some of the good news with our reporter, Kirk Wright.
The aim of the Flow Recharge program is to transform the lives of some slow achievers and students with behavioral challenges at Kingston High. Flow's latest move to help turn around lives was to have two influential and successful people share with the students. First, it was the 1998 Miss Universe Attorney-at-Law Wendy Fitzwilliams and then businessman Howard Harvey. The two shared life-changing experiences with the kids. Mr. Harvey explained how he moved from being a windshield wiper near Devon House in St. Andrew and not having a bathroom to bathe to now having a master's degree and excelling even further academically.
I ended up doing my bachelor's degree, and I never imagined that I would be able to do a bachelor's degree after all that I'm going through. It's more time I'm up on the street and the people are dealing with me somewhere. It's like, I just want to stop. But I always wanted to teach. And so this is one of the motivation that pushed me. I always wanted to teach. And I said that I'm going to teach because people need somebody like me to teach. Somebody who come from the streets, barefoot, dirty, all into all kind of activities.
Miss Fitzwilliams explained how she pursued her dream even without the initial support of her father. She emphasized the importance of role models.
Mentorship is so important, not only for the mentees, but also for the mentors. It grounds you. It helps you to appreciate our young people, where they are at, what their needs are, and how we can help make their lives better.
The principal, Earl Pottinger, says the changes are, as he had expected, small but gradual.
For one, is the attitude of students. They are more positive in terms of their outlook on life, their behavior, also their self-esteem have been positively affected by the flow recharge program. And this is due to their meeting of people from diverse backgrounds.
Kirk Wright, TVJ News.
And that's a local segment of Primetime News. But before we go, some responses from our feedback question. Archie?
Thanks so much, Lorraine. There's a question on the screen. It says, United States President's controversial executive order on immigration has generated global concerns. Should Caribbean countries in particular be worried, and why? First comments from Renice Chin, who says, as Caribbean countries, we should all be concerned. We have a large Muslim population in Jamaica, so Mr. Trump will eventually target us. Renice Chin, who says, as Caribbean countries, we should all be concerned. We have a large Muslim population in Jamaica, so Mr. Trump will eventually target us. Our next comment is from Gia, who says, if Trump's true aim is to stop terrorists from entering, then why should Jamaicans be worried? In fact, we only had one sniper, and that's years ago. I think President Trump will overlook us. Ed says, we should be on the alert. With Donald Trump as president, anything is possible. And our final comment is from Shine, who says, they don't really have to worry, but everybody should be able to go anywhere as long as the money is there. So this new policy is rubbish, because Jamaica is not blocking anybody from entering this country. Keep your comments coming on Facebook and Twitter. Facebook.com/TelevisionJamaica and your tweets to @TelevisionJam. Business news and news from overseas after the break.
Good evening, this is A Business Day. I'm Dwayne Burbick. NCB says it is putting things in place to be the bank of the future. The company outlined what that will look like at its annual general meeting on Friday. Dashan Hendricks reports.
NCB says it's charting a new course. A course it said is outlined in a newly developed 2020 plan.
And the description of that plan is NCB 2.0. Faster, simpler, stronger.
NCB's Managing Director Patrick Hilton says that the plan focuses on three main pillars.
The first is building a world-class digital experience by developing distinctive digital capabilities. 2, accelerating regional expansion by expanding in priority markets. And 3, reinventing our core business.
Mr. Hilton says that the return of a record $3.6 billion profit in the 3 months October to December is a commendable start, but not the end. For him, the juggernaut, which is NCB, must be the bank of the future, becoming increasingly digital. It has already started with its bank on the go and has since added a loan at the ABM solution,
which eliminates paperwork, processing and wait times, and gives customers immediate access to loans on their debit cards.
Then there is online opening of accounts.
Now customers are able to open personal savings accounts or current accounts within a matter of minutes from anywhere and at any time.
These are happening while the bank pushes to be among the top 5 in the English and Spanish-speaking Caribbean. That's an aim which was set for the end of 2016.
We still don't know the exact number where we are.
But with its shareholders voting on Friday to create a new holding company, NCB Financial Group, which will ultimately own NCB, that is the bank and its subsidiaries, plus its 29.99% stake in Guardian Holdings, Mr. Hilton says that the bank is on the way to realizing its dream. For the Business Day, I am Dashan Hendricks.
Meanwhile, NCB will be facing more competition in the Jamaican marketplace. This as Jamaica National says it will start operating as a commercial bank effective this Wednesday. JN Bank, as it will be known, started the process to convert its building society operations to a commercial bank 8 years ago. JN Bank will bring to 7 the number of commercial banks operating in Jamaica. Let's look at currency trading now, which ended today with the US dollar selling for $128.35. The Canadian dollar is selling for $97.75. The pound sterling costs $159.90, while the euro is selling for $136.91. The main JSE market index pushed deeper into record territory today as gains, chiefly in NCB, sent the market up by more than 3,515 points. The junior market index, however, gained 2. The winners of the day included AMG Packaging and Paper, Cargo Handlers, Caribbean Cream, Carreras, Honeybun, Jamaica Producers, Jetcon, the Cayley Group, NCB, Radio Jamaica, and the Scotia Group. On the losing end were Blue Power, Grace Kennedy, Lasco Distributors, Paramount Trading, Scotia Investments, Sterling Investments, and T-Tech. And that's your Business Day. I'm Dwayne Burbick. Good evening.